Hey guys, what is going on? So today we're going to be talking about the iPad Air, the first one, and how it holds up in 2018. Now before I go any further, we are still doing the Xbox One giveaway on this channel, and in order to enter, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and add me on all the social networks. All the links are down in the description, and it's super easy to enter, and if you don't enter, I'll literally be offended, and I don't know if I'll talk to you anymore, I'll be honest. But concerning the iPad, it came out in 2013. And, you know, looking at it, you probably wouldn't even be able to tell, but until you probably look at there's no fingerprint sensor on it, and then you could probably tell it's a little bit dated, but overall the body I still think is fairly good looking, pretty much the same as the iPad Air 2, but just keep a note though that the screen is a little bit different on the iPad Air versus the Air 2. The Air 2 does have a little bit of a better screen, but it's 9.7 inches, so it's fairly big, and there's no fingerprint sensor on it. Like I said, it might be a big deal to some people, but for me, it's really not. Now turning it on, it's running iOS 11, which is actually the latest version it supports, and handles it okay, but just keep in mind that this is probably one of the last updates it's getting. So whatever iOS 11.3.3, whether it's the worst update or, you know, best update, it's just getting that. So that's the ending point for it. Now I will say that overall performance is okay. It only has 1 GB of RAM, so it doesn't really multitask that well anymore, and even getting into multitasking is super choppy because it's a little bit of a different animation in iOS 11 because you have to swipe up or you can double tap or whatever. But I will say that overall, like fluidity and stuff, you do notice a lot of glitched frames, even going into small things like pulling up into multitasking or pulling down the status bar and stuff like that. It does have a dual core 1.3 GHz processor, so like I said, light tasks are okay, but as soon as you start getting into those heavier things like web browsing with tons of tabs open, or you're flipping in from one app to another, you might start seeing some slowdowns. And that kind of actually is kind of the opposite with gaming, and I actually find gaming on this thing fairly decent. Lighter and most heavier games are okay, they run it fairly well. I mean, you would look at the specs and you'd say, you know, it probably doesn't game that well, but I would say from real world use that it's really not that bad. But concerning with actual multitasking and all that other performance, I would probably rate overall performance probably like a 5.5 out of 10. And the cameras are, I mean, I would just say just don't use the cameras on this thing. It's a 5 megapixel camera on the back. It does have a front camera, but honestly, I rate the camera like a 3.5 out of 10. Do not buy this iPad for this camera. Which leads me about my favorite feature in this iPad, and that is the battery. So it has an 8,570 milliamp-hour battery, which is a huge amount. I will preface that by saying the battery life on iOS 11 isn't as good as it was in iOS 10, but it's not that bad at all. It can easily last several days, and it has amazing standby time, and I would say with this specific iPad that the battery life is probably one of its best features. And with that, I mean, I would say I would give the overall score of this iPad probably like a 5.5 out of 10. The way I see it though is like it's not getting any faster. It's still supported for a little bit, but I doubt it's going to get iOS 12. And the way I would put it is like it is worth it. Yes, if you want to have it, if you can get one for like less than $100, I guess it'll last you for like a year or however long iOS 11 is supported on this thing. But if you can spend a little bit more money, maybe like $200 or something, get an iPad Air 2. That thing is a workhorse. That thing has 2 GB of RAM and updated specs. It does have a little bit of less battery, I will say, but I would rather have an iPad Air 2 than an iPad Air 1, obviously. And I use the Air 2 all the time, and it's wonderful. Guys, that is pretty much it. If you guys have any questions or anything, leave them down in the comment section below. I'll try my best to answer. Like this video as well. That helps out the channel so much. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys, and hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.